how does the defense counteract quarterbacks with quick releases, which a lot of the Big 12 quarterbacks seem to have?
I think a little bit of everything. I think the biggest thing is again, you're dropping 8. I mean, that's really what you're doing, dropping 7 or dropping 8 guys, and because the ball's out so fast, so you're not getting sacks, the pressures don't get home, and I think that's one of the things that's probably helped us a little bit. That's kind of how we built this whole thing from the start, and I think that's probably the number one way.
Was that why you built it? That's interesting.
Well, the ball's out so fast. There's guys spread from east to west on the field and north to south, and so there comes a point in time where you've got to defend the run, obviously, and so you can at least be one-dimensional, make them one-dimensional. But at some point, you can put 10 guys at the line of scrimmage, and if the ball's gone, it just doesn't do you any good to have them all in there. So, I think that's the one thing that we've been able to do is we started out with dropping 8. And then you can go from there, to add into it as you go.
That's interesting.
People maybe don't think of Brewer in the same running style as, say, Ellinger or Hurts or Sanders in this conference, but how does he still hurt teams with his feet?
Oh, I do. I think he's, I just don't, I think he's right up there with those guys for sure. I think there's probably more called runs, and I haven't seen the other guys as much this season, so I don't know, but I think there's probably more called runs, with those other guys, but is he a lead in that category? Absolutely. Tremendous athlete, tremendous competitor, tremendous runner. And, we've got our hands, we've had a couple of those already, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Is he most dangerous maybe on a third down passing situation where he can escape?
Yeah, he's dangerous on first down. He's dangerous on, some of the quarterback draws. He hurt us a year ago. He's just dangerous. He's one of those guys that can do a lot of stuff, and his competitiveness allows him to be all of that. And then he can make all the throws. That's the other side. It'd be easy if he was just running the ball, but the guy can stand back there and shoot the ball around. And so you got to defend everything, and that's hard to do. And that goes back to what Randy said. You can't. Again, you're dropping 8 or rushing 3, or you're rushing more than that and leaving guys in coverage. So you just have to be, you got to be sound in what you're trying to do and try to keep them in the barrel and get them tackled, get them on the ground is the biggest thing.
Does it become, a situation where people use the term like sell out for a sack? When you've got mobile quarterbacks you've got to deal with, how aware do people have to be?
Awareness is the number one thing, in my opinion, in rushing the quarterback. You have to have some sense of where he's at, where your help is on defense, who's rushing, who else is rushing, where the pressure's coming from. It's, I think, the number one thing. I think if you're a defensive lineman, you have to know what everybody else is doing. You have to have awareness of the quarterback. It's just not lines on paper. If you're running lines on paper, you're in big trouble. It'll be a long day.
Does your depth kind of maybe become more important in a 94-degree type of game?
Yeah, you guys know, we use our depth all the time. We're rotating those guys. Obviously the more guys you can play, the better, and we've been able to do that up front, and we'll continue to do so at linebackers and safeties and corners, just again like we've done already.
What's it like having somebody like Connor Green?
It's pretty special in my opinion. I think he's really a unique guy. He's been kind of flopped on both sides of the ball. Really intelligent guy, great personality, really smart, all those things. And, I think he's just one of the guys that you look at as a coach and think, wow, that guy's really pretty special. And he probably does more for us than we do for him. And, I think the world of him.
What's the biggest challenge Mims presents? Coach Kim said he thinks he's one of the best receivers in the country, or one of the best playmakers.
Well, he's all of that. He can catch, he can run, he's long. He's a go-to guy. He wants the ball in critical situations, and he catches them and makes plays. So, we're going to have to do a great job and play our defense and be sound and, keep the ball inside and in front of us as best we can.
How much of a luxury is it to have a guy like Jake Hummel, who is almost he's played a lot of football, and he's, a starter quality guy almost that he can throw in there in a lot of situations.
Jake's done a great job for us. He's really, he fits into the Will linebacker role, and he's done a good job. Can play Mike. We've kind of moved him around. He's really intelligent as well, and he's allowed us some flexibility to move some guys around. So it's really a plus. Great kid, great young man. Competitive, loves football, loves this team, a lot of fun to be around. So it's a blessing.
I heard the turnover belt made an appearance on the sideline Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know if it did or not, but I know we got a couple, so that's a good thing. If it showed up, I'm really glad. We need it to keep showing up every Saturday.